Hi there, thank you so much for joining me today. This is Julie DiMatteo from thepaperpixie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US, and in this video tutorial, I'm sharing with you a Trapezoid gift box. I absolutely love how this gift box looks. It's got a really cool shape to it, and this is a masculine box, which I love using the Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper. Let me show you what that paper looks like. I love this for the fall. It almost has a camouflage look to it, this pattern, but just beautiful color combinations and artwork. Love this paper. That's Beauty of the Earth. We're going to be using the Intricate Leaves dies. I've just die cut this leaf using this set, but this is a wonderful set of dies. And then the sentiment comes from Heartfelt Wishes. This is a fantastic set for all the holidays. And I love the font and the way that this looks beautifully both horizontally or even diagonal with the sentiments, but it's a beautiful stamp set. So let's jump right into this and let me show you how to make it. We're going to start with a piece of early espresso cardstock that measures 9.5 by 8.5. And along the 9.5 inch side, we're going to score this at 2 1/4, 4 1/4, 6.5, and 8.5. I'm going to rotate it clockwise, and we're going to score this at 3/8. and 2 5/8 from each side. So I'm just going to rotate this 180 and again repeat 3/8 and 2 5/8. While we have it in this orientation and we have that 1 inch section at the top, I'm going to score at 3 inches down to the second horizontal score line, and then 5.5 inches down to the second horizontal score line. I'm going to rotate it 180, and at the same measurements, we're just going to make a tick mark, so 3 inches and 5.5 inches. I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise this time, where we have the 1 inch section here along the right, and I'm going to score at 1 7/8, but only down to that second score line, and 4 5/8, only down to that second score line. Now, to keep just a minimal list of measurements, I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to repeat 1 7/8 down to that second horizontal score line, and 4 5/8. So we're going to end up with cardstock that has score lines that look like this. I'm going to bring in the template here. We did that 3 inch and 5.5 inch score line down to that second horizontal score line. Then we made our tick marks at 3 and 5.5. And then we scored at 1 7/8 and 4 5/8, stopping at that second horizontal score line. Just to show you, these are going to help us with our diagonal score lines and cuts and the tabs that we need. Hold on to your stylus from the Simply Scored and grab a ruler. And I want to show you where we're going to score next. We're going to do the diagonal score lines, and we're going to start at the bottom of that short score line and score on the diagonal down to this intersection of score lines here. Same thing over here, like so. Then we're going to rotate it 180, and where we made those tick marks, same thing, tick mark, score down to the intersection of score lines, and same over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, right where that short score line stops, I'm going to press my stylus there, bring the ruler to it, and then score. Those two are done. Then I'm going to rotate it 180, and same thing from the tick mark diagonally down to the intersection of score lines. Like so. All right, now it is time to get to work cutting. We're going to cut first here instead of folding and burnishing. So I'm going to start with this upside down, and we're going to come in 1, 2, 3 score lines. And I'm going to cut up to that second horizontal score line. We're going to kind of do this in stages. So take a pause once you get to that second horizontal score line, because then we're going to change the angle of our cuts, and we're going to cut right along that diagonal score line we made. The diagonal score line is just a cutting guide for us, like so. See that? Then we're going to repeat that on the opposite side here. Come in 3 score lines and cut up to the second horizontal score line. Take a pause, and then we're going to change our angle here Now I'm going to rotate it 180, and again we're going to cut up those diagonal score lines and stop. All right, so we've gotten those cut. Okay, now I'm going to turn it to the side here, and I want to show you, we want to make sure that we leave behind some tabs here. So we're going to cut just to the right of this 3/8 inch section and just to the left of the 3/8 inch section. So I'm just going to come right up the 1, 2, 3, 4th score line in from the left. And then we're going to remove that whole section on the left there. You can save some of those pieces. There's some great real estate for punch outs or die cuts. Now I'm going to come into the first score line from the left, cut right up that. Like so. Again, I'm going to rotate it 180. Let's do the same thing. Again, coming into that first score line. And then coming in from the 1, 2, 3rd score line. And then removing that whole big section there. Like so. Now we just need to tidy up those tabs. And essentially what we're going to do is just come in and miter cut to create those 3 tabs on each of these sections. So I'm going to just take my time here and just work my way around. We're going to actually remove that little square on the corner there, but if you just come in and do the miter cutting, then that square is going to totally be removed. It's going to look like that. All right, so one side is done. Then I'm going to work on this side as well. All right, so that's what that's going to look like, a really strange shape there. Now this template is not to scale because it needs the full 8.5 inch width. The next thing I'm going to do is round these top 2 corners using the detailed trio punch. Like so. Okay. This template will be in my detailed blog post, which I'll have linked in the description for your reference. Now you'll see there's a little finger notch here. We're going to do that after we adhere the designer series paper. Now is a good time to fold and burnish on all the score lines. All right, now we're going to have some designer series paper pieces here. I have 2 pieces that are in portrait if you have a directional pattern, and these measure 1 3/4 by 2. I have 1 piece in landscape that measures 1 3/4 by 2 1/4, and then I have 2 pieces in landscape that measure 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. Now we need to do a little bit of work to get this to fit. These are the pieces that are going to fit on these trapezoid shaped sections. So let me show you how to do that. Bringing in the Simply Scored, you could also do this with the ruler. I'm going to put both pieces of designer series paper, they're right on top of each other. And I'm going to make a tick mark with the ball tip of my stylus at 3/8 of an inch and 2 7/8. Now that's going to be really hard to see on there. But those are little tick marks to help us cut on the diagonal. Bring in the paper trimmer here, and we're going to cut from tick mark diagonally down to the corner. And you just want to line that up right in the cutting groove of the paper trimmer. And I like to cut from the tick mark down so that you don't get your blade stuck on the corner. And you can cut through both layers of designer series paper. Then I'm going to rotate it 180 and then line up that tick mark and the corner. Now the tick mark's on the bottom here, so I'm going to cut from the bottom up, like so. Now, this piece currently is too big. I want to make sure that I keep the same angle, so I'm actually going to slide that angled edge to that first line on the paper trimmer, and that's going to allow us to keep the same angle, but then remove 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to rotate it to the flat edge. You can do either the short one or the long one. Again, line that up to that vertical line, which is the 1/4 inch line, and cut. And now we have 2 trapezoid pieces that have the correct angle for our trapezoid gift box. Now before we glue this down, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping first. I've got a scrap 3/4 inch strip of basic white. And we're going to stamp the sentiment from Heartfelt Wishes and Early Espresso, but I want to mask the word much. So I'm just going to take some of my Post-it tape, and we're going to go ahead and strategically line that up to mask over the word much. Then I'll ink up the word gratitude, remove the masking tape, and then you can really stamp this anywhere on the strip. Love that sentiment. I'm gonna bring in my silicone mat here, and I've got one of the trapezoid pieces, and I wanna line up my sentiment. I'm about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom, but I want the sentiment to be off to the right side so that there's room for the leaf. Then I'm gonna apply glue on the back here, and I've got the silicone mat in case I get any of the glue off the back edge there so we don't make too much of a mess. And we'll just lay that right over that trapezoid piece where we want it to go. And then I can come in with my paper snips and then just cut right along that angle so that it perfectly fits on that front piece. All right, now it's time to adhere our designer series paper. I'm gonna start with the trapezoid pieces, and we wanna pay attention that we glue these in the right spot. So this piece up here is actually the front of our trapezoid box. I'm gonna go ahead and glue that with the sentiment to it. This next piece will adhere here. Now we've got our one piece that is in landscape mode. I want to make sure that with the rounded tab here, this is going to glue top to bottom with the direction of the pattern. And then we've got our two side pieces, but we want to make sure that those trees are going in the right direction. So they are going to go top to bottom this way. So they're kind of facing in opposite directions. All right, now the last thing we want to do is put a little finger notch here, and I've just got a 1/2 inch circle punch. It's retired from Stampin' Up, but you can find these on Amazon by EK Success. And I'm going to come in about 1/3 of the way into that circle and punch a little thumb notch there so that it's easy for the recipient to open. Now it's time to put this box together. We are not going to put adhesive on these two outside tabs. Those are the tabs that are going to tuck in here and give the top edge of our box a really nice finish. So just take your time. We're going to focus on one tab at a time. And I'm going to line up this score line with this cut edge, and that's going to start to form our trapezoid box edges. And then I'm just going to work my way around the remaining 3 tabs. There we go. Now our trapezoid gift box is ready to fill with some yummy treats or a sweet gift. Those little tabs will just fold in, and then this rounded corner tab will just tuck in, and the box will close and hold itself together. Now the last touch is I've die cut this leaf using the intricate leaves dies from the brushed metallic cardstock. Beautiful. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the spine. And then I will adhere that just off to the left here for the perfect finishing touch. I love this interesting masculine gift box. Really easy to change this up for so many different occasions, but I love the shape of this gift box, and it's a really cool design. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss my next video. If you're interested in purchasing any of the Stampin' Up! Products I used today, they'll be linked in the description. And I'll also include a link to my detailed blog post with all project measurements, details, and a picture of the template for reference. I'd love to have you come visit me at thepaperpixie.com, where I post projects to inspire you. And if you don't want to miss a thing, you can subscribe to receive blog updates via email, and you'll receive an email each time I publish a new post. You can shop with me anytime at thepaperpixie.com/shop. And if you're interested in a discount on your Stampin' Up! Purchases, the starter kit is the ultimate bundle, and it's a great way to fulfill your wish list for less. You can purchase the starter kit at thepaperpixie.com/join, and I'd love to welcome you to my team of Paper Pixies in the Stampin' Up! Family. And if you give this project a try, I'd love to see what you made, so share it on social media with the hashtag #PaperPixie, and I'll be sure to check it out. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Take care. Bye.